All right, chapter 10. We're down to the final stretch of the book. In this chapter, we're talking about emotional intelligence. And emotional intelligence is a leader. And it is a nice little additional chapter that adds in here really well because, again, we're talking about a culture that permits and allows and encourages an environment of creativity. And one of those things happens through leaders that do have good emotional intelligence. They feel confident, they feel comfortable, and they're able to move forward with that emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence, some people haven't heard of it before. It's a term, if you take psychology, you'll learn about that a little bit more, but it is actually a better predictor of our lifetime success and our lifetime happiness than intelligence is. Now, I'm not suggesting we shouldn't be intelligent, but when we combine traditional intelligence with emotional intelligence, that's a real recipe for success. So, what is emotional intelligence? What does that mean? The easy version is to say it allows us to take our interpersonal skills and our intrapersonal skills and mix them together, and that helps us to be a person that knows ourselves well and can work with others well. So our interpersonal skills means I know myself, I know my strengths, I know my weaknesses, I can accept who I am, I know how to grow with that, I know how not to be defeated, I know how to keep going, I'm resilient, and I understand myself. And then my intrapersonal skills says I can work well with others. So I can empathize, I can read their cues, I understand who others are and how they're coming from and what their ideas are and how to interact well with them because I understand myself. So I can communicate well with them. I don't have to overreact, I don't have to underreact. I'm able to dialogue and I'm able to get on that same place as somebody else. So I have good interpersonal skills. I can get along well with others and I can understand. I don't have to necessarily agree with them, but I can go through that process well. So when I combine the ability to know myself really well with my ability to interact well with others, that helps me to become a healthier person and helps me to move forward. I think we all know really intelligent people who can't get ahead of themselves and they may become very depressed, or they can't socialize, or they can't interact, or they can't figure out other things. We don't want that. We don't want just one pigeon skill. We want to have all those skills wrapped together. Sometimes emotional intelligence is referred to as EI. So when you see EI, that's what that's talking about. In your book, it defines it as the ability to manage oneself and the relationship with others. So that's those skills together. And there's 5 critical elements to emotional intelligence that are very critical to having that understanding. The first one is to be self-aware. It's a good sense of the self. It's understanding your strengths and your weaknesses and feeling that you have some control. Doesn't mean you know everything. It means you know you have control because you understand your strengths and your limitations and can push yourself to the new level without defeating yourself. The second one you heard me refer to earlier is empathy, and that's the ability to understand others and be able to relate to them. And that was discussed in a prior chapter as well. Being able to walk in the shoes of somebody else, not feel sorry for them, but see what it must be like to be them experiencing what they're experiencing. So to be able to kind of transcend yourself and feel like what it would feel like to be that other person for a moment. The third is social expertness, and that's to be able to create strong, healthy social bonds with others. So now that I can understand others and I can relate to them, I'm able to create those strong and healthy bonds with other people. Relationships are the fruit of life in many ways, so creating those bonds and those relationships at whatever level they should be. The fourth is personal influence. And that means that the person can lead and inspire themselves as well as others. So they're willing to feel confident enough to move forward and to spread that with other people and to get themselves up and going every day. We all have bad days. Every single one of them. Us. I have them all the time. The question is, can I look at that bad day and go, today's a bad day? Or is this defeating and I can't move forward anymore? So being able to compartmentalize those things and go, this was not good, this was not fun, I'm not enjoying this, but tomorrow's going to be better, and these are the things that I can do to make it happen and move forward and move through those things. Problems are meant to be things that we walk through, not that we just stay in. And so that can help us a lot with that. Something else that your chapter talks about here is the mastery of purpose and vision. And basically what they're referring to here is understanding your life purpose and being willing to do what it takes to go after that life purpose. Here again, we're talking about that self-actualization piece, that understanding of ourselves. So somebody with good emotional intelligence understands who they are and why they're here, and they're willing to get up every day and move towards it. We're not stuck, we're not pondering, we've kind of figured it out. Now, it's not easy just to figure out life exactly, and it's going to change constantly. My life doesn't look the way it did 10 years ago or what it's going to look like 10 years from now. But I can have visions, I can have inspiration, and I still know my core of who I am. And that's really important to understand that and get up every day and be that. But be happy. There's a saying that says if you don't like what's happening, move. You're not a plant. You have the ability to change that. You have the ability to move and become something different, do something different. So find that life purpose. What makes you feel good every day? What gives you passion? And use it. It's important that we don't allow all these exterior things to hold us back. Because when they hold us back, they will stop us from being creative. They will stop us from getting to the next level. They'll stop us from self-actualizing. And when you're miserable, you're not creative. What can we do to avoid these creative blocks? One of the things is to avoid negative self-talk. And this is something I see a lot. I see it in students, unfortunately. I even see it in very young children, and it makes me very sad. I'm so stupid. I can't handle it. I'm unsuccessful. I'm never going to make anything of myself. Sometimes we're repeating things that we've heard and messages that we've gotten picked up in our lives, and sometimes there's tunes that we're playing in our own head. But we have the power to change that. We need to see ourselves as successful. We need to see ourselves as confident. We need to see ourselves as capable. I don't see myself as an auto mechanic, and I'm okay with that. But I know the talents that I do have, and I'm willing to move forward with that. So we have to be able to embrace that. We need to stop the negative self-talk. That's what holds us back. We also need to be able to reframe failure. Your book has a quote that I liked a lot, and it says, I did not fail, I just found 10,000 ways it did not work. So we can reframe that. Just because something didn't work out doesn't mean you're a failure. It doesn't mean you're not successful. It doesn't mean you're not capable. It doesn't mean you're not valuable. It means that thing didn't work out. I can tell you, I just made dinner. It didn't work out that well. I'll try again tomorrow. I'm not going to quit eating. I'm going to try something else. I experimented. That experiment went a little awry. That's okay. I can laugh at that. I can have fun with that. We don't have to destroy ourselves and say, I'm never going to be a good cook because I made one bad meal. And it wasn't that bad anyhow. But we can enjoy that. We can enjoy the process. What did I do? What happened here that I didn't like? What can I do differently? So it's very important that we reframe those failures. They're not failures. That thing didn't work out and I learned from it. So we can't swallow that. We can't digest it. We have to just look at it for what it is in a neutral sense. That's something to learn from. So hopefully those are helpful. There's your pep talk for today. Come on back. We are almost there. We've got one more chapter to go. So I'll see you back for chapter 11 real soon.